Hello guys, back again with another update. I've decided to go with 30 FPS today, so let me know which one you prefer down in the comments. Great to see someone commenting already as well, quite like that. Just for that viewer specifically as well, I want to point out, I've got my RO unit out there. On my initial incident, which I think I've outlined in one of my videos, was that when I initially made my tank water and filled up that, I had contaminated it and the TDS went to 10 ppm. And I had to throw it all away, and that was after making 4 hours of water, so that was fantastic. So where am I in the cycle? So we're on day 12. I haven't done much in terms of testing today because I'm sort of just giving it a little bit of a break. I've got some other bits and bobs that I'm doing. I had a massive worktop that I cut with an angle grinder, which I used to make my cabinet as well, which has also gone through a change. It is a lot darker as well in real life, so I will try and turn down the exposure. Oops, and it is roughly about that colour. Yes, that is correct. But yeah, so there's a bit of overexposure now. But essentially we are on day 12. I did witness an ammonia spike, but I have cut back on the testing just in a means of saving money. Obviously, because they aren't massively cheap, but they do start to add up, and beyond, underneath it, before the sort of 15-day period, there isn't much in the way of noticing differences apart from your ammonia spiking, which did happen, I believe, on day 9 or day 8, which was quite late, according to the Red Sea, although it doesn't really initially state that it's the regular cycle, but obviously you should see an ammonia spike. But it was cleared, 24 hours cleared. Nitrates were pretty undetectable, but they have always been present. Whether or not that's due to the accuracy of the test or just the nature of the tank right now, nitrates seem to be present below the 0.1 ppm. I had the biggest value I received was 0.2 ppm, which I believe I took the day before yesterday. I did have my pH meter because I initially dropped it in the water, so I ordered another one. It was a slightly different one. And I am now testing a pH of 7.4, which doesn't seem right to me considering a week ago I tested it after making changes and it was 7.9. That was, for example, increasing surface agitation by moving the Jabo pump further up and agitating the surface more by having the window open. Also, this is a fairly high oxygenated room just because there are many rooms and it is quite open. And we tend to spend most of our time upstairs, so it didn't seem correct to me that's yielding this reading. I have ordered a calibration fluid, but yes. So in terms of testing, I've relaxed it a bit. I'm still dosing the Nopox, but I'm still reading nitrates of 50 ppm, which aren't changing. I can't tell whether that's good or bad. I think the skimmer's now starting to kick in. I'm getting quite a, not massively, I'm getting quite a thick, foamy skim in there. And the water does seem to smell very bad after it's been skimmed, but I'm not too sure. I do know that it should reach halfway up the skim cut, but it is doing well. It seems to be performing. I've moved the lights, I've centered them closer together because I actually noticed that the gap in between them was quite large, and upon looking at the fixture, it was far too over, and that wasn't matched in terms of where they are now, if you to look onto it head on. So I've got a more central light now falling down onto the tank, so hopefully not as much spillage, and hopefully on the parts where it crosses over I'll get higher par readings. So in the event, or after a few months, if I decide to keep, for example, Acropora or other SPS corals, then I've got areas of very high light, especially in this elevated zone and here as well. I do get some light leakage from outside. I'm not too fussed. I do feel as though I am noticing brown spots everywhere. So I'm just going to put that on pause, which you can do with the Jabo pump. Just to let you know as well, I think loads of people who are wondering whether or not the pump is quiet or not. I must say it is fairly quiet, so I wouldn't worry. Those darker spots, which are very difficult to notice obviously in the blue light, but are present, seems to be increasing in numbers. not massively, but there is tints. Obviously, every part of this video is so hard to show, but every part of this video where you're seeing slight tints is ultimately due to the fact that there is sort of brown algae now appearing. I think it's easier to notice from here actually, but just there, like that brown spot's there. They're not massive, it's definitely not an outbreak, but it's good. I'm happy to see it. It's nice to see some diversity. I know some people don't desire it and will work very hard to remove it. Also, one thing I want to note, it's so peaceful and the shimmer is so steady when you have the pump off. It is absolutely fabulous. I do actually quite enjoy that. And it's now come back on again. And now you can see the shimmer. So yeah, it's all running well. I did have a bit of difficulties yesterday in the UK. It was around 27 degrees and the tank did rise to 25.3. I don't think I've shown the reservoir, but I have obviously got the reservoir set up now. And that's full of RO water. There's a little bit of a mess down here at the moment. Sorting out the hinges, I did push to close, but I unfortunately failed in terms of the hinges that I installed on this one, so it doesn't quite work. However, this one does, so I will demonstrate that to you. So if I push it in and it clips in, then if I push it out, it comes out. So pretty chuffed with that. And a little reading which I was doing a little bit of messing around was putting this little thermostat in here just to see the temperature on top of the transformers for the light. And obviously I'm reading 33, 34 degrees, so pretty hot in there. Might install a fan in there one day just to keep everything cool. Next step is to run these LED lights that I have through the cabinet, their motion sensor, and also to fix this door because it doesn't currently stay, only when it's been pushed out. But apart from that, everything's looking good. I'm taking it slow and steady. The manual, sort of the Red Sea kit does state that I can now add cleaning crew, but there isn't much algae in the tank. I don't want to starve them. I'm not putting fish food in, so there's nothing for them to feed on, which would often be leftovers because there's not always going to be algae in the tank. So I don't want to starve them. My nitrates are quite high as well, so I don't want to kill them, don't want to starve them. So I don't think there's any sort of rush, I suppose. So what I'm hoping to do is run through the cycle, finish off the instructions, and I've finished the nitro back and the back dose start. So the only thing that's being dosed now is the NOPOX. Obviously, as you can see, day 14 calls for a water change. And it also calls for water change on day 21. However, they're very small water change percentages, 5%. The last water change didn't have an effect on my nitrate readings really, or nothing that was observable. So there is 55 litres in this tank. It is 75 litre rated tank, but there's 55 after you put in the substrate and the dry rock, with live elements to it. That being said, it's not difficult to do large water changes simply because there is so little volume. So I think because I don't want to reset the cycle by changing any water out, hence why I believe that it is asking for only 5% changes. But the way I'm going on it is that, of course, the nitrogen cycle has been started. We've observed a noticeable increase in ammonia, and we've also watched it drop, and we've also seen nitrates followed by nitrates. So it's happening. The cycle is turning. When I dosed the bottle again a few days ago, I didn't observe any changes in ammonia, so it shows that it's processing it, it's breaking it down, and it's going round that circle. However, if I was to take out all the water right now, what would happen? Is the nitrifying bacteria present in the water column, or is it present in the rocks? So the only way to sort of determine one of these two, for me, is personally by submersion time. So how long have the rocks been underwater? Have they been underwater for 10 days, 20 days, 30? If they've been underwater for more than 20, 25 days, then it is more than likely that the rocks have hosting bacteria on them, or not, nitrifying bacteria and denitrifying if it's deep enough and has an anoxic environment. But in this case, given that the tank is now only 12 days old, it seems unreasonable to assume the following, and even after the 21 days, I would still be slightly hesitant to do such a large water change. The large water change which I want to do is 80%, so I do wish to take out 45 litres out of this and replace it with fresh water, RODI water, obviously with salt mixed into it. My next purchases are another heater, so I will have to do that. But it is interesting to observe these things, and we'll see how far we come and what we can do next. But thanks for keeping in touch and in tune, so please subscribe and keep following for more updates.